So here's Scott Player, and he's got to be wondering how he got here. The Punter, a single bar face mask and a very bold facial hair choice. Hi, Nora, how are you? The NFL banned his bar, mocked his look, and the internet found it and said, maximum aura. What I want to know is, could this be the most iconic look in NFL history? That's a Scott, just like you, man. Oh. Scott Player. Scott Player? Anybody? Welcome back to Real Deal. Today's show is part of one of my favorite industrial complexes. Let's name some guys, people. Yes! Oh, this photo came to me as I'm scrolling, as the best stuff in life does. And I could not believe how many likes were underneath it. Scott Player, the last of his breed, the last of one. Literally, the one-bar NFL players. Are we doing a whole episode on one-bar helmets? Yes, we are, people. Oh, man. I can't get my head around, first off, from a safety perspective, how this was allowed into the 21st century. He was punting well into the 2000s with a single-bar face mask. And I'm going to ask him in a few seconds, how does that even protect you? I don't think it does. I read that he can move it up and down. They called it a convertible. A convertible on a Ford Focus. I mean, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. And not only do you have the single bar and the last player in the NFL to do that, you have the Hulk Hogan, bleached blonde, Fu Manchu goatee. I mean, to me, that reads character. I don't know. I do not know Scott. I can't imagine what Scott's thinking. He got a call this week, and this dude who's got a podcast he wants to do an entire episode on. I want to do an episode on identity, I guess, is what I wanted to, but I just can't get my head. This has got to be one of the most iconic looks in NFL history, right? I mean, I have a list here. I put together a list because that's what I do. We make lists. And usually I do my top 5, which is 6, because every top 5 should be 6. I made a list, and what I wrote down here, I think we got more than that. We got double digits here. Where does Scott Player rank on the list of most iconic looks in NFL history? The single bar, could it be number 1? Let's see. Top 10 most iconic NFL looks. Number 11. I got a tie right off the start. My coaches. Tom Landry fedora. This is a silhouette for all time. This is how I grew up watching the NFL and the NFL films. The star, the Dallas Cowboys, right? And the look of the silhouette. That's an all-time. This is what an NFL coach should look like. And tied with Mike Ditka and the Bears, who went a different way and always had a nice sweater. I always liked this 80s style of sweater. It was very unique to Ditka. But I put Ditka over the top of some other coaches who wore the sweater in the 80s or the starter jacket in the 80s. Parcells did that from time to time. Or the big bike shorts. I put Ditka over that because he embodies something I love in coaches. The coach who looks like the team mascot. Look at that man in the 1980s. He looked like a bear. He looked like a bear with the mustache and the hair. That's our iconic look number 11. Number 10, most iconic looks in NFL history. Mike Allstott, just in general. Mike Allstott in general. I like a good fullback. I like a good neck roll. Mike Allstott. We can get lost right here. This is a show about rabbit holes. We can get lost on a rabbit hole showing Mike Allstott highlights. Just the bruising. It's almost like I have to now credit Chris Berman. You have to do that when you see Mike Allstott. Remember, this is not just who looks best in a uniform or who's the best player. This is just the look, the full look of football. Number 9, most iconic looks in NFL history. Troy Polamalu. I mean, so he had the hair coming out, which led to incredible sponsorship deals with Head and Shoulders, which is just great on its own. But the way he would fly around the field, that's a safety who had wings. Love Troy Polamalu. What a great look. Iconic. Number 8 most iconic looks in NFL history, Jerry Rice. Again, just Jerry Rice in general. What a glide. Gallop is the word I wanted to use, but Gallup's a little bit heavier. What a glide. We had a poster growing up of Jerry Rice in our house. And it was Rice be nimble, Rice be quick. And there was a picture of Rice gliding over Candlestick. We also had another poster of Rice. I wish I could find this. It was a generic Jerry Rice poster. I think it may have been Starter or whoever was making just the ones with the white background. And in the play, he's being tackled by the athletic supporter. He's being ripped at the cup level. And it somehow eluded their photocopy, look. Oh. Jerry Rice, number 8, most iconic. Number 7, most iconic looks in NFL. As you can see, I grew up in the 80s and falling in love. Jim McMahon, sunglasses, headbands, and Roselle headband specifically. There's an episode that we should be doing on Jim McMahon at some point, because he had the sunglasses while he played. That was because as a kid, he took a fork and it hit him in the eye, and his eyesight was not as good as it should be, which is something that he was able to defy the odds even to play, which is amazing. And then the headbands, he's just baiting the commissioner. We love a good player who baits the commissioner. Number 6, most iconic NFL looks of all time, and this is a Reali, and this is an 80s one again. Mark Bavaro. Oh, for me, how much do I love Mark Bavaro? Let's call it up. This is a play. You have to, if we call it up on your own, if you need to see it, Mark Bavaro versus the San Francisco 49ers. How many Niners he carries. So he's a man who wore more shoulder pad than some of the ladies in the 80s, which is to say a lot. There was a big shoulder pad look in the 80s for everybody, football players and soap opera stars. But his shoulder pads must have been 2 times the size of everybody else. And then he had this big, beautiful Italian face, which we love. But what did he do when he got into the end zone? The sign of the cross. So for the Reali family, a sign of the cross when you score a touchdown, you're going to be forever on our Mount Rushmore of players. Now, I mentioned one highlight. This was carrying Ronnie Lott and the San Francisco 49ers 10, 15, 22 yards. His first career touchdown, spikes the ball comes up, hits him right in the crotch. Number 5, most iconic looks NFL history. Joe Namath, sidelines, fur coat. Don't need to say anything more. Number 4, most iconic look NFL history. Now, this is a great player who changed the way players stood in the NFL, posture-wise at the line. Lawrence Taylor. Look at this look. The shoulder slouch, the stand-up, the pose. This is intimidating, and this captivated and then captured completely Lawrence Taylor as a player. He was a tiger ready to pounce over the line. And this was, 3-point stance, 4-point stance. Defensive players were not standing up really in the way that Lawrence Taylor was. Maybe Ted Hendricks was a little bit because he was so tall. But Lawrence Taylor really perfected this. I used to play a game, Tecmo Super Bowl video game. Tecmo Bowl is, of course, the most famous. Tecmo Super Bowl, also very, very good. And I believe you're going to remember Tecmo Bowl if you do. For Lawrence Taylor's speed, he and Bo Jackson were the 2 fastest in the game. So you should remember him for Tecmo Bowl. But Tecmo Super Bowl, they had some image of him in that posture. Like they had the silhouette. Like they were pretending could have been any player, but everyone knew it was Lawrence Taylor. Oh, so iconic. Number 3, most iconic, Walter Payton. So he looked great in a uniform for a reason. He was unique. He had longer legs than just about anybody his height. Had to. Roger Craig and he. Very high legs up to the waist. His legs went from the ground to his neck. And then secondly, he wore the headband. And he had a Ruse sponsorship. What is Ruse? Anyone know what Ruse is? Ruse is a kangaroo. Ruse is a kangaroo. A kangaroo got in the sneaker and cleat business and apparel business. And he wore a kangaroo on his head, a headband or a t-shirt. Walter Payton. Number 2 most iconic looks in NFL history. I love LaDainian Tomlinson. This is my fantasy peak. He's the greatest fantasy player of all time, number 1. And his full look, I think he had, for me, the best looking face mask in NFL history. He was able to wear the visor. This was when you could wear a visor, where you didn't even need clearance to wear a visor. Now they give some people clearance, but it's not even true. Look at LaDainian Tomlinson. This is a gorgeous NFL player. I would like, and maybe I'll ask Scott about this because he's going to talk to me about face masks. I would love the helmet and visor to be the only thing you see. No face masks. I will go to a place of no face masks. If we can get the helmet that bikers wear, not bikers, cyclists, when they're in the, what's that called, a velodrome? And it's just like, or Tron, that whole thing where you're just like a helmet and a visor that is black or rainbow or mirrored, and it just goes to your neck, and that's it. You can't even, no face masks ever again. Reali the real deal did it. He invented a world without face mask penalties. That's my number 2, LaDainian Tomlinson. And number 1, going into this interview, not because I want to prop him up, but Scott Player, man, wore a single bar face mask into the 21st century. He was punting, and he was holding for punts, but we have images here. He said he's got a ball in his hand being tackled by Raiders while wearing this. Is he the toughest guy in the world? Is he one of these punters? There's so many Australian punters now who are like incredible tough guys too. And they're the jacked punters now. And there's, of course, McAfee is now the most famous person in the world in sports media, and he's also been a punter. So now we're seeing the personality. The punter has more personality than the place kicker. And whether Scott's going to tell me players viewed him differently than a place kicker, maybe we'll get into that too. But bleach blonde goatee, single bar, the last of his kind. How do you think I did? Let me know in the comments. Tell me your favorite, most iconic looks. Who's your favorite look, your most iconic look in NFL history? But now we get to the man himself, the man who made his face mask famous and went viral all over the world. Scott Player. Let's make it real. Scott Darwin Player, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him. All right. So I wanted to talk to you because I've had your image on my phone for the last 4 years, and I can't even get enough of it. NFL posts it, you go viral. TikTok fans are on TikTok posting this image. Get likes on likes on likes. When did you start realizing this?
Kind of, I guess, when, TikTok and things like that started gaining popularity, and I'm not really much on social media, but my daughters were on it, and they would show me, things that their friends would post and things like that. And
yeah.
So, probably 4 or 5 years ago.
How often do people send it to you?
It seems like it comes in waves.
Yeah.
Like, every few months, it'll just, nonstop. I'll get hits from other people.
All right. Simply Irresistible. We start every show with a Simply Irresistible question. You remember this song from the 80s, Simply Irresistible? It sticks in my head. It's an old song.
I do, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Of course, right? So we're going to, at some point when we have the budget, we're going to have, people dancing behind me and singing. But for now, you are known as the last of the single bar. Just a few years later, some NFL players were going in the exact opposite direction. What is the record for most bars on a face mask ever photographed in NFL history, Scott? This is one where you remember, as you were probably retiring, that guys were going completely off the rails with face masks. Guys guys on your team.
Yes, I remember the look. Yeah, I'd say 80.
80? The man who our one bar said 80. The answer is 27. Take a look. Do you know who this is? Number 90 on the Arizona Cardinals. He was a teammate of yours.
Darnell. Yep.
Yes,
that's Darnell.
Look at that thing. That is 27 to my count, and I'm not even giving him credit for that little bull ring nose on the top of his head right there. 27, and of course, what is he protecting there? I mean, he's protecting his face. I feel
right.
I feel like that's a tremendous look. Cardinals contain multitudes. Who knew? You wore the single bar, right? And a few years later, Darnell was rocking that. All right. See, you can't resist that simply. Thank you, Robert Palmer.
Right. No.
Thank you, Scott Player, for playing along. Let's get to the big deal. The last of his kind. Television said worst look of all time. Internet said maximum aura. Old football aesthetics versus internet vibrations. When the joke became legend, and what happens when the last of his species becomes impossible to forget. That's why we're here, Scott. The purpose of the face mask, one would think I would not need to ask this question, but you know the purpose of the face mask, right, Scott? to protect yourself. What made you say I don't need protection?
They paid me to punt, not tackle. So that's what those other 10 guys are on the field for. So
Did you ever get hit in the chops?
yeah, it comes with it. I've
Okay,
tackled
so you
people
don't
with
need
it.
protection. Going through the history of the face mask, let's take a look at some of these because, of course, we had the leather heads and the single bar and the double bar, but I just love looking at old face masks. You eschewed all these, but let's take a look at some of them. We know Darnell right here. Of course, that's an interesting gentleman. We'll get to him in a second. That's a big face mask. Doug Williams once broke
Steve Young's, right?
Yeah. Doug Williams broke his jaw, and this is where we put it on the side, right? And now this is, of course, the great Jackie Slater, Hall of Famer.
Yep, I remember that one as a kid. Yeah. Wore that mask.
You never wore any of these. I mean, as a kid growing up, you didn't just punt. Of course, you were the best athlete in the history of your town, I'm sure, and you played every position. You never wear the full grill?
Maybe like when I was like 10, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's Jackie Slater here. This is a tough one. Joe Perry. This is clearly one of the first after the Leatherheads where he was trying to get some protection here. My favorite through the years was LaDainian Tomlinson. I thought this looked so good. This was a great one.
Yeah. Hard looking.
At Florida State. Oh yeah, Connor Barwin. So this is when Riddell was asking players right as he retired, and Connor Barwin designed his own mask, and that was some of the masks we saw playing for the years with Justin Tuck and Chris Canny and Suggs, and of course Darnell Dockett, your teammate. How did you choose the single bar? You just needed to see the ball?
Yeah, just gotten a bad habit of pushing the ball up over like that traditional quarterback mask, and I said, you know what? I was living in Birmingham at the time, and went down to an old Hibbett Sporting Goods back in their warehouse. They let me dig around, and I found an old 2-bar face mask and brought it home and cut it down to a 1-bar, and I was wearing it ever since.
So there it is. You did the engineering here. We're talking screws and hinges and everything. Are you a Mr. Fix-It? Is that what it is?
No, just use all the stuff that came with the 2-bar helmet. You just cut it down. It was basically two 1-bars put together. Those old style because they didn't have a 1-bar, so I had to make it into a 1-bar.
And of course, the NFL. I mean, you have equipment managers, and they're happy to be there for you. But you're like, I got this one. This is all me. That's great. I love that. This is about individuality for me, because this look that you have you're the last of your species. But the fact that you designed it as well makes it that much better for me.
It wouldn't go down as far as I wanted it to go down, so I had some help there at the Cardinals with the grounds crew guys. We fooled around with it a lot. They shaved some of it off and made it where it would come down below my chin.
Did you ever shank a kick wearing the more conventional face mask? And you said that's the reason why I did it, because I didn't have good visibility or I didn't like the way it was sitting on me?
No, didn't like where the ball was sitting. I just wanted to see all the ball.
Going up and down, we would call that a convertible, right? I mean, that's what it's
exactly.
Yeah.
You could put it in tackle mode if need be.
Yeah. So you would call that tackle mode? Because I do have a couple of images of you making at least some. Maybe you have the ball in your hands off of a wacky play or something like that. That's not tackle mode. That's like when you have the Crocs and you put it in athletic mode. That ain't doing nothing. But you never had a broken nose or anything. That's great. Good for you.
No, knock on wood. No.
When did you first realize anatomically, biologically, that you had a superpower in being able to kick a football?
It was kind of like a hobby as a kid. I didn't really like football or cared about football. I played baseball growing up. Went to college to play baseball, and had 2 serious injuries playing baseball. And I figured might not be coming back from that, so I need to find something else to do in the afternoon. So I started kicking seriously. And
side quest hobby. Okay, I see where we're going here. But
yeah.
Do you have I mean, what is it? Hamstrings? Is it hip socket? What are we talking about biologically that makes a punter a punter?
I think it's just something you're naturally born to be able to do. It's almost like a pitcher. You can't really teach a guy how to throw 100 miles an hour. You can kind of do it or you can't do it. And I think kicking a ball is kind of very similar. Let's
name some guys. This show's based on the great era of naming guys. I love Ray Guy. All right, let's talk some punters. You got a player and you got a guy. I mean, that's all you need. But Ray Guy, did you ever have a chance to meet him and study him? He's the Hall of Fame punter, of course.
I did. I had met him at his Hall of Fame ceremony. And he was probably one of the first punters I remember as a kid, because I was probably one of the only kids that growing up that knew who some of the punters were,
Yeah.
playing in the NFL. But yeah, he was, yeah, great. Yeah. He kind of started the whole process.
Reggie Roby, rest his
Yep.
soul. Yeah.
Certainly. Yeah. Another
Tell
one
me,
bar guy.
yeah. Tell me if this story's true. He wore a watch when he played. You wore a single
He did.
bar. He wore a watch when he played. And then the story goes he wore this watch so he could time his punts, which I never got. How do you stop the watch and kick the ball in one? I mean, that's not happening, right? Yeah.
No, that's yeah. I'm not sure how he did that. But.
he was now technically he kept his plant foot on the ground the whole time, right?
Yes, he was a huge man. Yeah, I think the guy was like 6'6".
Yeah.
Didn't need to push off.
Tom Tupa? You know Tom Tupa?
Yep.
Another great name.
Yep.
Punters find their ways to a great name. Scott Player, great name. Tom Tupa, great name. I remember him throwing the ball, playing a game, playing a full game at quarterback.
Yep. Yeah. He played quarterback in college.
Do all punters know each other, or am I doing something incredibly stereotypical right now?
Most somehow know each other. Yeah.
All right, here it is, our moment, Scott. Here we go. This was a tough day for the Browns. And you had 5 punts, a busy day for Player. I know some people can remember every play that they're involved in. I mean, you had 700 punts in your career, and then you probably held for another 700. Do you remember where we are right here, 2007?
Yeah, that's my last NFL game at New England.
At New England, and Patriots are beating the Browns, and you had the 5 punts. I'm going to read to you the play-by-play call of the great Dan Dierdorf, who was in the booth at the time. Look at this. Let's be honest. This is one of the worst looks of all time. This is what Dan Dierdorf is saying about you. Did you hear about that after the game? Did somebody? Here it is. Your last year of last game of your career. You didn't know that immediately at the time, but did you hear? Did this get back to you?
I don't think I heard this until a few years ago.
Mm.
I've never watched a TV copy of a game I've ever played, or it kind of happened when all this stuff started going viral. That clip. So I'd say it's probably 5 or 6 years ago. It was the first time I heard it.
Dan Dierdorf, Hall of Fame player and legendary broadcaster. Also, first team all mustache, we have to say, which is surprising because he's going after the whole look here, which includes the mustache you're rocking at that moment, but also the single bar. And at this moment, you're the last player wearing it. But Dan played with single bar players, double bar players.
Right.
And this shouldn't have been the most foreign thing for him. So I guess there is this energy sometimes maybe around some big players, offensive lineman type players, and punters, and they have a certain opinion of punters. Did you run into that in your career? Is that what you think was at play here?
I'm sure it was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a very separate part of the team usually.
Dan Dierdorf's face mask himself, I mean, was enormous, and he was covering his ear hole, which I think was surprising here. But so what I was interested about this is the NFL mind in 2007 wanted to mock the single bar and or the mustache. I mean, it can be one and the same. And what happens years later is NFL posts an image of this, a TikTok fan posts an image of this, and the feeling is maximum aura, which maybe you already felt that you were rocking when you were doing it. Do you feel that there was some sort of conversion among fans that they liked your look after years and people missed the single bar face mask?
Yes, definitely. I would agree with that.
Where is the bar right now?
It's right there above me. See it?
Oh, now I do see it. Okay. How many do you have? You just have this one.
That's the last one. That mask. Sometimes the mask would break. You have to make a new one. But that's I used that mask by the last 4 years of my career.
Mm-hmm.
That is intact as it was in the last game it ever went in.
So here's what it is for me, Scott. You had this incredible look with the single bar because it helps you punt better. But nobody bleaches their mustache and goatee blonde to help them punt better as well. So was this a chance for you to show who you were as a person? Were you embracing the single bar and said, there's a lot of eyes on me at this moment, I'm going to maximize this publicity?
Well, actually, the season before in Arizona, me and my long snapper, we weren't playing very well, and we're like, you know what, let's just start dressing up in costumes for road games. And it kind of evolved from there, and I just kept it for a while.
Were you always that type of guy, or did football allow you to be that guy? Because I could say the single bar tells me you played football, the goatee tells me who you are as a person. If I was going to be meta-referential about this, did anybody say,
I like to have fun?
Yeah.
I did try not to take this. You know, I got paid to kick a piece of leather around on Sunday afternoon. You know, you shouldn't be able to take that very serious. It's a game, and tried to always have fun with it.
When did you realize you were the last one?
Probably the last couple of years in the league.
Right, it was Landetta and it was Player who were rocking single bars. Nick Lowry, I believe, as well had a convertible. But you outlasted all of them. And did somebody tell you at that moment? I mean, so the NFL bans your mask at some point. They say this is not what we want. Safety, of course, is one way they could view it. The other way could be this is just not what we want. But you were grandfathered in. Who told you that we're banning it, and how hard did you have to fight to get it grandfathered in?
Well, I didn't have to fight to get it grandfathered in. It was when I was signed with New England in 2008, and their equipment manager, I guess, just had nothing else better to do. Didn't like it. So I guess, I don't know if he got with Belichick or whoever, but I think they were the ones responsible for getting it banned.
Well, Belichick would. I would think Belichick would appreciate something that he appreciated the drop kick when Doug Flutie went for that. I thought he would appreciate the callback to that. I mean, in the end, if the punter is not affected by it, I think most teams don't want their punter making highlights anyway other than good punts. But if it's not affecting your play,
it was definitely the equipment manager started the ball rolling on getting it banned. No love lost for him.
So take us to now. Here's where I am. 25,000 men have played National Football League. I'm on NFL Legacy right now. Their last 25 posts. 2 are you. Okay? Patrick Mahomes gets 100,000 likes in a post. Joe Montana gets 80,000 likes in a post. They've gone to Scott Player and the single bar and the goatee twice in the last 30 posts, and you're 10x Odell Beckham's catch. How do you explain that?
I have no explanation for it. Society thrives on hideousness.
No, it's not. I think it's the individuality. This is the NFL, right? Not for long, the no fun league and all these things. They're trying. This is a league where you have to work really hard to get your face out there, even though it's the most important and popular league in around, and it's got the best TV ratings, but you have players behind a face mask, and you were the last who were able to keep their face out there. I have a theory. My theory is one stops being ordinary the second they are the last one. Do you think that's what people are reacting to? That they sense that you were the last one of a certain breed, one who would put their face out there, even at the risk of getting mangled in a tackle?
I would agree. Yeah, it was the last one, and it was an extreme version of the last one. It was a San Diego road trip.
Yeah.
And it was like, pretend like we were in the 70s. I had a disco outfit on, and my handlebars white.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I thought it was wrestler when I first saw
it. And it didn't even come to my mind that I was trying to look like Hulk Hogan, but it just kind of morphed into that.
Every guest on this show, Scott, receives a gift. And for you, my friend, I'm not sure if you can see my phone. This is an image that I keep with me everywhere. It's Ray Liotta from Goodfellas. It's one of my favorite things.
Yep.
But we say goodbye to Ray Liotta at the moment because now, arriving at your doorstep any day now, will be the Scott Player. Carry it with you for as long as you're going to be wearing your own face on your phone, Scott. But this is what we give to everybody on this show for you. Thank you very much for appearing. Let's hear it for Scott Player, everybody. What a humble, calm spirit there from Mr. Scott Player. Thank you very much, Scott. I was expecting a Hulk Hogan type. And I think the goatee is doing a lot of the work there, brother. But he's just wanted to have some fun. Thought people might laugh at it. engineered the whole thing. That to me is the best part of it. My brother, the rocket scientist, would love to know that he engineered that convertible level of the crossbar, and he still had it with him. I still think whatever business he's in, put it on the truck, drive around town. You know, I would, if he gets back into the aircon game, I would get my HVAC fixed by Scott Player wearing that single bar, and he should walk around with a single bar wherever he goes. You need protection in life, right? All right, let's get some steps in. Not every icon tries to become one. Sometimes, see you guys later, I spend so much time looking for the meaning behind something, I kind of forget there is no master plan for everybody, right? Scott Player wasn't trying to redefine the punter position, wasn't trying to build a social media brand, or even be the last of his breed, the last one-bar dude in this town. He was just being himself, and ironically, that what made him unforgettable. So shout out to you, Scott Player. I still get anxious watching that one single bar hanging there like he's, it's a great look. It's a great look, just not saying. My money, the most iconic look in NFL history. There's your real 1 minute. See you next time.